This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, truly clearer words and truer statements have never been said. It does not matter who the host is. It always has mattered who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Friday, November the 7th of 2025, day 311th of the year, and only 54 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Yep, radiobig.fm, where we get to hang out and do all kinds of fun stuff. So how's the last 24 hours or so been for you? How have you been? Doing cool stuff? Hopefully, preparing for the weekend as it is Friday. Some people make a huge deal about that throughout the week. So hopefully, it's one of those things that's important to you. Take a listen to this. So no, seriously, take a listen to it.
You found the right radio station.
And I'm here to stay.
Now turn the volume all the way up to Friday level.
Okay, so we're at Friday level today, so let's get it all rolling and bowling. So let's talk real quick. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That is the way that we go about doing our thing here. So normally Fridays, we call them Free For Friday. And the reason why we call them Freeform Friday is because we talk a little bit about everything that has happened throughout the week. So that's kind of our constant, our consistent, that kind of stuff. That's what we do. So if you're good with that, hopefully, we can sit back and talk. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety is the way that it goes. The freeform portion is because I have a whole bunch of stuff that I did not do earlier in the week that we need to play catch up on. It's just kind of the way that it goes. So don't take it the wrong way as we're going through everything. So that is part of the aquajong of it.
Hello, everybody. Well, I feel good today.
I just woke up and wished that anything not normal would happen.
I need some coffee.
Listen up. It's a new day. Get your butt out of bed.
Okay, so let's get to the not normal. So as I talk and we talk about that we're going to be doing the weekend review, that's kind of the way that it goes about. So if you're good with this, let's do a couple of things. Let's talk about what has happened so far this week and then get into some other stuff. So take a listen.
Starting Friday, airlines expect to cut at least 4% of flights to those 40 airports, ramping up to 10% by sometime next week, which could mean thousands of flights canceled daily.
We have new details about what happened in that cargo plane crash in Louisville. The National Transportation Safety Board says it believes the plane's left engine fell from the wing during takeoff. The death toll is now up to 12.
Marshawn Kneeland, a defensive end for the Dallas Cowboys, died today at the age of 24. The Cowboys honoring Kneeland as a, quote, beloved teammate and member of our organization. According to Texas police, Kneeland crashed his car on the Dallas Parkway after evading troopers during a police pursuit. While searching the scene, police say they found Kneeland with what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. They're now investigating the incident as a suicide.
A clean sweep for Democrats in yesterday's key elections. New York City's next mayor will be Zohran Mamdani, a Democratic socialist who won a slim majority but nonetheless decisive victory over former Governor Andrew Cuomo in a three-way race. Turning now to what's become the longest government shutdown in American history. Pretty unflattering record there. Both parties say it could be resolved and soon, but in the meantime, there is confusion over the status of something very important, food assistance.
One of America's most iconic pizza chains, the parent company of Pizza Hut, is looking at options for the struggling business. Could include selling it off.
Diane Ladd, a three-time Oscar nominee whose movie and TV career included many prominent roles. Her daughter, fellow Oscar nominee Laura Dern, says Ladd died at her California home yesterday. She was 89 years old.
The Blue Jays, well, this year they got 2 outs away from winning their first World Series since 1993, which I know is a bummer, but I want to send a message to you guys and to all our friends in Canada. If it's any consolation, we want you to know that if there's any team we would have been okay losing to, it was you, okay?
Okay, so there you go. A lot of stuff going on this week, as you can tell right there. So let's do this real quick as we are hanging out. I do have some friends that are waiting from Feature Story News that they want to talk to you, so we'll get to that into a moment. But if you want to interact with the show, even on this lovely Freeform Friday, callinradio.com is where it's at. callinradio.com. That will take care of everything for you. That is the way that we do portion of the show. Audio, video, text messaging. Once you get there, give me a little prompter over here on the screen, and it lets me know what exactly is going on. So if you're good with that, I'm good with that. So let's get moving and grooving, and let's get our friends here from Feature Story News and find out what exactly is going on.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Hong Kong, I'm Laura Westbrook. Hundreds of flights have been cancelled at a number of major US airports as a result of the government shutdown. Trump administration officials say the move is an attempt to relieve some of the pressure on air traffic controllers who haven't been paid since mid-October. Ira Spitzer reports from Washington.
Air travelers in the U.S. are bracing for more disruptions from the government shutdown as Trump administration officials say they're planning to cut flights by as much as 10% on domestic routes. Meanwhile, there are reports that the Republican-controlled Senate is preparing for another vote on a stopgap spending measure on Friday, although a meeting by a group of Democratic senators on Thursday didn't yield any obvious change in position. The opposition party has demanded that Republicans extend health care subsidies that are set to expire, which GOP lawmakers have so far refused to do. At 37 days, the current shutdown is already the longest in U.S. history. Ira Spitzer, Washington.
US President Donald Trump says talks with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi are going well and that he plans to visit the country. The comments come amid ongoing trade negotiations between the two countries after the US increased tariffs on India to 50% in August. Rebecca Bundin reports from Mumbai.
Speaking to reporters at the White House, President Trump described the Indian Prime Minister as a friend and a great man. Trump said that India had largely stopped buying oil from Russia. When he raised tariffs on Indian goods to 50% in August, he said that this was punishment for India's purchases of Russian oil, which he said helped to fund Moscow's war in Ukraine. Indian refiners, including Reliance, have halted purchases from Moscow after supplier Rosneft was sanctioned by the United States. Trump said Modi wanted him to visit India and that he would go. Rebecca Bundin, Mumbai.
India and the European Union are concluding another round of trade negotiations as both sides aim to finalize a deal by the end of the year. Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
Steel and automobiles are two sectors where India and the EU have not yet finalized tariff rates, and New Delhi is also reportedly concerned about EU's carbon tax on its labour-intensive businesses, which could become uncompetitive. Despite hurdles, New Delhi and Brussels say they want to finalize a deal in the next few weeks, as top EU officials are scheduled to visit New Delhi in January for a summit. Top trade negotiators from the European Commission are wrapping up their 5-day marathon talks in New Delhi on Friday, after India's trade ministers spent 3 days in Brussels talking trade. India and EU are looking to ramp up their already multi-billion-dollar trade to reduce reliance on their other big partners, US and China. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN. US President Donald Trump is welcoming the leaders of 5 Central Asian countries to the White House as he looks to strengthen relations with the region. The US is trying to counter the strong ties that Russia and China enjoy with the 5 nations: Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan. It comes a few months after the 5 Central Asian leaders held separate summits with Russia's Vladimir Putin and China's Xi Jinping. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Dick Cheney had a long record of public service as a Republican congressman from Wyoming on Capitol Hill for many years before climbing to become President Gerald Ford's White House Chief of Staff. He went on to serve as Defense Secretary for President George H.W. Bush, before perhaps his most famous position, that of George W. Bush's Vice President, for 8 years during the 2000s. He was a defence hawk and the architect of the US's War on Terror, which saw America's second invasion of Iraq in 2003 following the 9/11 attacks on the United States in September 2001. He faced criticism for that invasion, which he fiercely defended, despite the US never finding the weapons of mass destruction the administration thought Iraq was harbouring, and that was Washington's justification for the war. In a statement, his family described him as a noble giant. I'm Nick Harper in Washington.
The main news again. Travel chaos in the United States, with hundreds of flights cancelled at major airports as the federal government shutdown heats pressure on the country's air traffic control system. Typhoon Kalmegi sweeps across Vietnam, weakening into a tropical storm after claiming at least 188 lives in the Philippines. Tesla shareholders overwhelmingly endorse a massive pay package for CEO Elon Musk that could reach a staggering $1 trillion. And that's the latest feature story news. Laura Westbrook reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, magical indeed, as we are doing our thing, no doubt about that. So, WTF, yes, WTF. Welcome to Florida. Take a listen to this real quick. Florida Keys authorities are warning residents to check their cash. Fake movie prop money has been turning up in circulations in the area, especially $120 bills. The bills say for motion picture use only, but some people still try to spend them. Officials remind folks if Andrew Jackson's smirking, it's probably fake. So think about it that way. So only in Florida can you accidentally pay for your bar tab with Hollywood money, because that's how that happens. And Ben Flanagan is wearing eyeliner. It's probably not real. You know that inflation's bad when people start using pretend money. Somewhere a guy like, hey, but it looks so real, it's Breaking Bad. Cashiers are now trained in finance and film studies. The Secret Service just added IMDb to its training manual, and you can't make a deposit at a bank, but you might get an Oscar. So some stuff to think about as we are talking. What an interesting time when we start talking about people are using fake money to get things rolling and bowling. I never understand that. I mean, I don't know if you've ever taken a look at some of this motion picture money. It does look pretty realistic when it's all said and done, which I don't understand that stuff. So it gets kind of weird from time to time as we are talking. Take a listen to this one. A Maryland man was mowing a neighbor's lawn when a random set of numbers, 13605, popped into his head. He couldn't shake them, so he played them at a pick 5 ticket. Turns out that those numbers hit big, $150,000. The lifelong lottery player says that he and his wife screamed, prayed, and now plan to pay bills, take a road trip, and spoil his good luck charmed wife. He says that he's motivated to win again, but taking a short break from playing, which is probably a good idea when you start thinking about it. So here you go. Proof that mowing the lawn is more profitable than crypto. Somewhere a neighbor's like, great, I get grass, and he gets cash. His mower runs out of gas. His brain runs a lottery number. So basically the grass whisperer financial advice. You know that's going to be a course online. He screamed, prayed, and promised to never skip yard day again. Next time I mow, I'm wearing headphones turned into the Powerball frequency. His mower is going to need hazard pay for creative consulting. And also imagine your neighbor, you won what, cutting my lawn? Because you know that's going to be a thing that comes about, because that's just the way that the world works. Anyways, take a listen to this one as we are moving forward. A woman left a 2-star review after finding a leaf. Yes, I did say a leaf inside of her baked beans. Not realizing that it was a bay leaf, a common seasoning, the restaurant clapped back and politely explained that it meant that her meal was cooked fresh. And the final line, sorry, the leaf surprised you. It went viral as a top-tier sarcasm. The internet roasted the woman, saying she clearly doesn't cook anything and doesn't come in a microwave box. She's lucky she didn't find thyme in her soup, and she called 911. There's a leaf in my food, ma'am. That's flavor, not foliage. Imagine the reaction of of oregano. Full FBI investigation, and somewhere where Gordon Ramsay just aged about 10 years. I guess farm to table was too realistic to her. She said that I can't bay leaf this. And the internet said, we can't either. Bay leaf, you get it? Also, the poor bay leaf went from soup ingredient to social media celebrity. Excuse me, waiter. The meal came with evidence of cooking, so that became a struggle right there. Let me give you one more in this sector because, that's what we talk about. A woman in France called the police after finding that she thought was a human foot in her meal. Apparently food and some weird stuff going on today. Turns out it was just an oddly shaped crab claw. and her West African stew. Police even thought that it looked suspicious at first, but laughed when they realized it was a mistake. The video went viral with millions of views, and the woman later clarified that she meant no offense to the restaurant for the cuisine. CIS or CSI Seafood Edition. The crabs out there be like, I was framed. Next time, just call a waiter, not a homicide unit. I've heard the finger food, but this is ridiculous. Police said, ma'am, just reported her dinner. Somewhere a crab lawyer is preparing a defamation suit, and she's banned from seafood buffet for life, is what it sounds like, as we are going forward. So there you go. Some things to talk about as, the world continues about, some weird stuff, because it's always weird stuff that gets us all kind of moving and grooving here. No doubt about that as we are talking. So let's get into some other things, because it's always important to get into some main news stories. Miami Heat coach Eric Spoelstra watches on helplessly as his home burns to the ground in a huge overnight fire. A massive fire tore through Miami home at the Heat head coach's house early yesterday morning, destroying much of the property and prompting a large emergency response. Miami-Dade fire rescue crews arrived around 4:30 a.m. to find flames as tall as trees. Over 20 fire units, including hazmat teams, battled the blaze, which engulfed two structures on the property. No injuries were reported, but officials confirmed that part of the home collapsed, forcing firefighters to take defensive approaches from the outside. Footage from the scene showed the coach's house visibly, and as he showed the house and how he was visibly in distraught, pacing near the burning house with his hands on his head. 5 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, property purchased back in late 2023 for $6.6 million, was reportedly just renovated and had recently hosted a backyard gathering. The fire broke out shortly after Miami Heat's loss to the Denver Nuggets on Wednesday night. The coach returned to the team's charter flight, which landed at 5:11 a.m. Moments after that, 911 called at the place. By 8 a.m., most of the blaze was under control. Authorities have not determined the cause. The coach, who finalized a record $120 million contract extension with the Heat last year, shares 3 children with his ex-wife, Nikki Sapp, a former Heat dancer. The team is scheduled to play in Charlotte Hornets home tonight, so we'll see what exactly happens as we are talking. Okay, so take a listen to this one. A man collapsed at the Oval Office yesterday during a White House press event where President Trump and his health team were announcing a plan to lower the cost of weight loss drugs. The medical emergency happened live stream on Eli Lilly CEO Dave Ricks was speaking. The man, identified as a company representative, suddenly fainted besides the president's desk. Dr. Oz, who is now the head of the Center of Medicare and Medicare Services, quickly rushed forward and caught the man before he hit the ground. The White House staff escorted reporters out as the medical personnel treated the man. Minutes later, press secretary told the press pool that individuals was doing okay, and the conference would resume shortly. When the briefing restarted, Trump reassured the room that the man simply gotten lightheaded and was under medical care. He's fine, the president said. We had a little interruption. Sorry about that.
But today we... Oh, you okay? Gordon, you okay? Yeah.
Press out. Press. We're going. Thank you, press. Cameras, we're done.
So there you go. That's exactly the moment that everything was going down. And I don't mean that in a weird way, going down, it wasn't like a perfect opportunity to talk about something along those lines, but just something to give some thought or otters there in regards of some of the things that are going on. There is no doubt there. So here you go. Let's talk about this 10% rule that fixes almost anything. What to get a fitter, richer, or more focus? Don't go all in. Just improve by 10%, run 10% longer, save 10% more, eat 10% cleaner. Incremental wins create unstoppable momentum, and you actually just need to stick with it. That's good information, I guess, to know. something to talk back about, that is for sure. Anyway, take a listen to this one. Let's talk about Queensland, Australia. A family discovered one of the world's most venomous snakes hanging out in their laundry basket. Snake catcher Summer Woolston arrived, joked that the reptile wanted to do some washing and safely was removed before relocating into the wild. Imagine pulling out your socks and getting fanged instead. That's not a load of white. That's a load of bite. It crawled into the spin cycle and left a death stare. I mean, that's some things to think about. Could you imagine that? You're doing your clothes and all of a sudden, boom, you got a snake in the middle of it. I remember I had a weird circumstance where I had a snake actually show up inside of my dishwasher. It's not a joke either, or making that up. It's something that actually did occur. Kind of a weird one when it was all said and done. Take a listen to this. Jury awards $10 million to the teacher that was shot by the 6-year-old. A Virginia jury has awarded $10 million to Abigail Zrini, the first grade teacher who was shot by a 6-year-old student at Richnick Elementary School back in January of 2023. The jury found the assistant principal, Ebony Parker, was grossly negligent, ignoring multiple warnings that the boy had a gun before shooting took place. According to the court testimony, at least 2 teachers warned Parker that the student had the gun, but she took no action. Abigail was later shot in the hand and the chest while teaching. One of Abigail's attorneys said Parker blew past flashing road signs and failed to do one of the things that her job required: protect the students and staff. Parker's defense argued that there had no specific legal duty to protect Abigail and that her actions didn't meet the legal standard of gross negligence. But the jury sided with Abigail, citing clear school policies that required staff to investigate any safety threat. The $10 million judgment is expected to be covered by the Virginia Risk Sharing Association, the school board insurance provider, though that could change depending the outcome of Parker's upcoming criminal trial. She faces 8 felony counts of child neglect. Abigail, who no longer teaches, testified that she thought that she was dying after the shooting. She still has a bullet lodged into her chest and has not regained full use of her left hand. So shit, that gets stuff pretty much weirded out right away in regards to what's going on. What do you think about the case? $10 million for a shooting from a 6-year-old, and why do you think that the warning was not looked into? Because that becomes a whole other thing within itself. Anyway, take a listen to this. Nancy Pelosi announced that she will not seek re-election in 2026, officially bringing an end to nearly a 40-year career in Congress. The 85-year-old California Democrat made an announcement on a video posted yesterday, calling it her final year of service as San Francisco representative and reflecting on the decades of work with grateful heart. Pelosi made history for the first female Speaker of the House, serving 2 separate terms, one in 2007 to 2011, again from 2019 to 2023, before stepping down from leadership but remaining in Congress. Her decision had been widely anticipated, and State Rep Scott Wiener has already entered the race to succeed her as the Deep Blue District. Take a listen.
I was able to represent our city and our country around the world with patriotism and pride. I say to my colleagues in the House all the time, no matter what title they have bestowed upon me, Speaker, Leader, Whip, there has been no greater honor for me than to stand on the House floor and say, I speak for the people of San Francisco. I want you, my fellow San Franciscans, to be the first to know. I will not be seeking re-election to Congress. With a grateful heart, I look forward to my final year of service as your proud representative.
Okay, so there you go. Nancy Pelosi calling it after years of service, so there you go. Anyways, take a listen to this. A federal judge in Rhode Island has ordered the Trump administration to fully fund November SNAP food stamp benefits after its initial plan to only cover 65% due to the ongoing federal government shutdown. The U.S. District Judge John J. McConnell Jr. ruled that the administration must find the money and make full payments by Friday, criticizing officials for ignoring the real-life consequences for families relying on the program. They knew where we would be a long delay in paying partial SNAP payments and failed to consider the harms of individuals who relies on those benefits would suffer. The judge said that the administration previously said that they could be delays for weeks, even months, and cited $4.65 billion in emergency funds to cover parts of the cost. The judge noted the government's inconsistent messaging, including President Trump's earlier comments suggesting that food stamps might be halted altogether, showed a lack of compliance with court orders. So there you go. Okay, what else do we got here? Let's talk about this one. Dallas Cowboys defensive end Marshawn Kneeland, 24, was found dead at an apparent suicide earlier yesterday morning after fleeing a traffic stop and a car crash in Frisco, Texas. Police said that Marshawn failed to stop for state troopers on Wednesday night, leading to a brief pursuit that ended in authorities' lost sight of his vehicles. Minutes later, they found it crashed, and Marshawn had fled on foot. During the search, dispatchers reported that people close to him had received a goodbye text, and his girlfriend told officers that he was armed and had a history of mental illness, warning he will end it all. About 3 hours after the crash, officers located Marshawn dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police confirmed that the investigation is being treated as a suicide. Marshawn's death came just days after he scored a touchdown at a block punt during a Monday night's game against the Arizona Cardinals. The Denver Broncos honored him with a moment of silence on their game on Thursday night at the matchup against the Raiders. And that's some terrible news to hear about as we are talking. Take a listen to this one as we are talking as well. The U.S. Supreme Court has just ruled that passport applicants must now list sex assigned at birth, upholding the policy backed by President Trump and effectively ending the gender identity options like X on U.S. passports. The unassigned order stated that it in indicating someone's sex at birth no more offends equal protection principles than displaying their country of birth. So that's something to think about. Framing it that it matters as historical fact rather than discrimination. Justice Jackson joined the two other liberal justices issued a sharp dissent, calling the move senseless and sidestepping of equality outcomes, and warning that the court is once again inflicting injury with adjudication, is what it sounded like as he was giving the information right there. Also, in some other things, the ACLU denounced the ruling as heartbreaking for transgender and non-binary Americans. It also went as far as who have been able to change their gender markers on passports since 1992 with medical documentation. The policy was expanded under President Biden in 2021, allowing an X-gender option, now reversed by Trump administration and solidified by the court's decision. Critics warned that the change will expose transgenders and non-binary travelers to more harassment and discrimination, while supporters argue that it restores biological accuracy to the federal identification documents. So some stuff to think about. Let me give you one more before we do the thing that we do here. During a White House press event last night with Central Asian leaders, President Trump pushed back on claims that Americans are paying more for groceries, offering a mix of deflection and inaccurate statistics in the process. When Fox News approached him about it, the federal judge orders requiring the administration to fully fund SNAP benefits during the ongoing government shutdown. Trump initially passed the question to Vice President J.D. Vance, who blasted the ruling as absurd. The president then jumped in, criticizing Joe Biden past expansion of the program, saying that Biden gave it to anybody that would ask. Trump went on to claim that Thanksgiving dinner costs are down 25%, citing Walmart, though that figure comes from smaller, cheaper samples of items. He also said the gas prices were near $2 a gallon and that the U.S. now has no inflation. In reality, the national gas average sits at about $3.08. The grocery prices remain higher than last year, up 2.7% since September of 2024 and 1.4% since Trump took office in January. Despite the numbers, Trump maintained affordability is much better with Republicans and argued with the party to start talking about it. So there you go. I don't know how you feel about it because prices just seem to continue to go up regardless of what's going on. Take a look at whatever is going on. I mean, $3.08. I have been to some areas where I've seen it cheaper, but you're kind of some of the bigger states have some cheaper gas, unless you're going to California. And I guess I should say bigger states in referencing Texas in particular. Anyways, with that being said, we normally do our main story at this time, but it is Freeform Friday, so that won't be happening. That's for sure.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Hong Kong, I'm Laura Westbrook. Hundreds of flights have been cancelled at a number of major US airports as a result of the government shutdown. Trump administration officials say the move is an attempt to relieve some of the pressure on air traffic controllers who haven't been paid since mid-October. Ira Spitzer reports from Washington.
Air travelers in the U.S. are bracing for more disruptions from the government shutdown as Trump administration officials say they're planning to cut flights by as much as 10% on domestic routes. Meanwhile, there are reports that the Republican-controlled Senate is preparing for another vote on a stopgap spending measure on Friday, although a meeting by a group of Democratic senators on Thursday didn't yield any obvious change in position. The opposition party has demanded that Republicans extend health care subsidies that are set to expire, which GOP lawmakers have so far refused to do. At 37 days, the current shutdown is already the longest in U.S. history. Ira Spitzer, Washington.
US President Donald Trump says talks with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi are going well and that he plans to visit the country. The comments come amid ongoing trade negotiations between the two countries after the US increased tariffs on India to 50% in August. Rebecca Bundin reports from Mumbai.
Speaking to reporters at the White House, President Trump described the Indian Prime Minister as a friend and a great man. Trump said that India had largely stopped buying oil from Russia. When he raised tariffs on Indian goods to 50% in August, he said that this was punishment for India's purchases of Russian oil, which he said helped to fund Moscow's war in Ukraine. Indian refiners, including Reliance, have halted purchases from Moscow after supplier Rosneft was sanctioned by the United States. Trump said Modi wanted him to visit India and that he would go. Rebecca Bundin, Mumbai.
India and the European Union are concluding another round of trade negotiations as both sides aim to finalise a deal by the end of the year. Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
Steel and automobiles are two sectors where India and the EU have not yet finalized tariff rates, and New Delhi is also reportedly concerned about EU's carbon tax on its labour-intensive businesses, which could become uncompetitive. Despite hurdles, New Delhi and Brussels say they want to finalize a deal in the next few weeks, as top EU officials are scheduled to visit New Delhi in January for a summit. Top trade negotiators from the European Commission are wrapping up their 5-day marathon talks in New Delhi on Friday after India's trade ministers spent 3 days in Brussels talking trade. India and EU are looking to ramp up their already multi-billion-dollar trade to reduce reliance on their other big partners, US and China. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN. US President Donald Trump is welcoming the leaders of 5 Central Asian countries to the White House as he looks to strengthen relations with the region. The US is trying to counter the strong ties that Russia and China enjoy with the 5 nations: Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan. It comes a few months after the 5 Central Asian leaders held separate summits with Russia's Vladimir Putin and China's Xi Jinping. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Dick Cheney had a long record of public service as a Republican congressman from Wyoming on Capitol Hill for many years before climbing to become President Gerald Ford's White House Chief of Staff. He went on to serve as Defense Secretary for President George H.W. Bush, before perhaps his most famous position, that of George W. Bush's Vice President, for 8 years during the 2000s. He was a defence hawk and the architect of the US's War on Terror, which saw America's second invasion of Iraq in 2003 following the 9/11 attacks on the United States in September 2001. He faced criticism for that invasion, which he fiercely defended, despite the US never finding the weapons of mass destruction the administration thought Iraq was harbouring, and that was Washington's justification for the war. In a statement, his family described him as a noble giant. I'm Nick Harper in Washington.
The main news again. Travel chaos in the United States, with hundreds of flights cancelled at major airports as the federal government shutdown heats pressure on the country's air traffic control system. Typhoon Kalmegi sweeps across Vietnam, weakening into a tropical storm after claiming at least 188 lives in the Philippines. Tesla shareholders overwhelmingly endorse a massive pay package for CEO Elon Musk that could reach a staggering $1 trillion. And that's the latest feature story news. Laura Westbrook reporting.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm, because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
Signal's gonna fade to gray. Another loop, another day. If this world's a dream we made, why do I still stay?
Okay, here we are, 44 minutes past the top of the hour, as you and I are hanging out on the Rated R Safety Show, doing all the stuff we get to do. So as we are doing our thingo, here's how it's going to work. We're going to be doing a little bit of this. We're going to be doing a little bit of that. That's kind of how it goes. This right here is the song Can't Tune. Yeah. Another one built in-house. So there you go. I don't know, just kind of the music creation as of late. In regards of a lot of stuff going on, no doubt. So that one's Can't Tune. We'll talk about what the hell we're doing here going forward, no doubt about it. So if you did not know, we are already doing all of the fun stuff that we're getting to do around here, and it's time to take things a little bit more serious at the moment. Let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. We want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. So there you go. Once you get there, information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Make sure to go to the section that says Find Help. As we are hanging out on this lovely Friday, let's continue talking about this. We talked briefly about it yesterday. Here's the picture in the invite. Hop into Action Vancouver, taking place January the 28th and 29th of 2026. We're telling you to save the date. Tickets are still not available at this particular moment in time, but be on the lookout because we're going to have those coming your general direction relatively quick. So that's TWLO. What am I saying? That's the wrong thing. I'm thinking about the wrong thing here. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Hop into Action Vancouver, save the date. We'll have some more information on our website, safetyfm.com, just so you know. I don't know where my brain went there for a moment. I went somewhere else inside of the multiverse. That is for sure. Okay, so let's talk about this one because, hey, it is Movie Friday, so there's some new movies coming out. Christie, starring Sydney Sweeney and Ben Foster, comes out today. Movie synopsis tells the story of Christy Martin, the most successful female boxer of the 90s. It's rated R and in theaters. Also today is Die, My Love, starring Jennifer Lawrence, Robert Pattinson, and Sissy Spacek. Movie synopsis, Grace is a writer and a young mother is slowly slipping into madness, locked away in her old house in the Montana mountains. We see her acting increasingly aggravated and erratic, leaving her companion Jackson increasingly worried and helpless. So there you go. Also, Grand Prix of Europe with Gemma Alterson and Thomas Brody. That hits theaters today. And as a young mouse with big dreams seizes her chance to race at the Grand Prix disguise as her hero, Ed, and rises to the challenge of outwitting her rivals in sabotage and proving that even the smallest racer can make the biggest impact. It's rated PG, hits theaters today. Also, Predators Badland, starring Rupert DeJong. Young Predator outcast from the clan finds unlikely ally on a journey in the search of the ultimate advisory. PG-13. Also, Unexpected Christmas starring David Ashley, Howie Bell, and Tabitha Brown. A family-perfect Christmas reunion is unpended when old rivalries, secrets, and romantic mix-ups come to a head. It's in theaters now, so there you go. If you're looking for some movie action, I just gave it to you. I just told you everything that's hitting the theater. So there you go. Some stuff always going on as we are hanging out and doing our thing. I don't know why we talk about this stuff, but there you go. Okay, take a listen to this. If your mind feels like 47 open browser tabs, this one is for you. Before bed, write down every lingering worry. When the brain sees your thoughts captured on paper, it stops looping them. This method is called externalization, and it helps people with insomnia. I don't think it means that it helps people have insomnia. I think it's more along the lines that it helps people that could be developing insomnia.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. There's one thing for you, no doubt about that, as we are talking. Let's talk about some other stuff. Take a listen to this. Coca-Cola is officially getting back into the holiday spirit with a new limited edition holiday creamy vanilla flavor. It's the festive release since the beloved Cinnamon Coke 5 years ago. The brand describes a festive twist with blends of classic cola taste with smooth vanilla of some seasonal joy. It's available in both classic and zero sugar versions, with a full sugar one sold exclusively at Walmart. Reactions online have been mixed. Some say it's vanilla Coke in a Christmas sweater, while others admit they're pleasantly surprised by how good it is. The cans and bottles come decked in gold stripes and whipped cream swirls on the holiday look. The launch is a part of Coke's big end of year push that also includes an AI-generated, updated iconic Holidays Are Coming commercial, though fans quickly noticed the red truck's morphing shapes in mid-drive. Coca-Cola's new holiday creamy vanilla, because your dentist wasn't busy enough this season. Creamy vanilla Coke, now 10% more Christmas and 90% more confusing. Some say it's a festive magic. Others say Walmart just slapped tinsel into litter. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. Anyways, let's do this. Let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Sarah. Maya Angelou said, "Nothing will work unless you do." I think we've had this quote before. It's a great one, though. I've seen many people who want everything done for them. You could give them step-by-step detailed plans to follow for success, but they want you to take the steps for them, too. I'm a firm believer that we each need to be involved in our own success or failure. Some people are so afraid of failure, they won't even try. Failure is not bad. It's one step in the process of finding success. But if you let it stop you, that's on you. Instead, let failure prompt you to find a new path, a better way. Take actionable steps to find the success you're looking for.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
At least 11 people were killed in a passenger train collision in India earlier on Wednesday.
The accident involved a passenger train colliding with a cargo train near a rail junction, causing significant damage. Emergency responders have completed rescue efforts, and train services through the area have now resumed. Authorities continue investigating the cause of the crash. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Russia has showcased newly developed nuclear weapons, calling them pivotal for national defense amid renewed tensions with the West.
State media reports that President Vladimir Putin
Putin oversaw tests of these advanced arms, which he described as historic for Russia's security. Military analysts believe the display is meant as a message following recent policy statements from the United States. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
After a dramatic night of voting, Democrats secured major victories in several key U.S. elections on Tuesday.
Zohran Mamdani won New York's mayoral race, becoming the city's first Muslim and South Asian mayor. Democrats also reclaimed the governor's office in Virginia, with Abigail Spanberger elected as the state's first woman governor. In New Jersey, Mickey Sherrill's win marks a historic shift, securing the governorship for Democrats. Lawrence Keller reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
The federal government shutdown has reached its 37th day, marking the longest in U.S. history.
With negotiations deadlocked, federal workers face another missed paycheck, and essential services are increasingly disrupted. Senators from both parties state that talks over healthcare funding remain a sticking point. Airports, food safety inspections, and national parks are just some areas heavily impacted by the ongoing closure. Kyle Norris reported.
A UPS cargo plane crashed shortly after takeoff from Louisville's airport, leaving at least 7 people dead.
Officials say the aircraft caught fire moments after departing, leading to a major emergency response near the runway. Investigators from the National Transportation Safety Board are on the scene and looking into the cause. Authorities have asked residents in the area to avoid the crash site due to potential hazards. Liam White reporting.
The Supreme Court announced it will review a significant case involving federal immigration enforcement policies.
The case challenges the government's latest guidelines for prioritizing deportations, prompting legal battles from several states. Oral arguments are scheduled for next year and could reshape how immigration is managed nationally. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Air travel across the United States faced widespread delays today due to staff shortages and weather-related disruptions.
Travelers at several major airports reported long lines and canceled flights as airlines scrambled to adjust schedules. The Federal Aviation Administration cites severe storms in the Midwest, alongside the government shutdown, as factors making the situation worse. Kevin Sanders reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Oh, yes, infiltration and Radio Big is always a thing. Don't worry about that. So let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1991, Magic Johnson announces that he has HIV virus and retires from the Lakers. That happened on this date in 1991. Okay, let's talk about some other things going on inside of the world of the multiverse. Let's talk about some celebrity birthdays going on today. Johnny Rivers turns 83, Joni Mitchell 82, Christopher Knight 68, John Peter Lewis 46, and Lorde, the singer, she turns 29 today, just in case if you were wondering. Okay, some things that you ought to know. Tonight's Mega Million jackpot will be for $843 million. Also, tomorrow's Powerball jackpot will be for $467 million. So there you go. Also, ESPN is making a major shakeup in the sports betting world, officially teaming up with DraftKings as its exclusive sports book and odds provider starting this December. The move ends ESPN's short-lived partnership with Penn Entertainment and signals the end of ESPN Bet. The new deal, DraftKings, known for its fantasy sports, gaming, and digital media platforms, will power ESPN's betting integration. Fans will now find a dedicated betting tab on ESPN app, linking directly to DraftKings Sportsbook's daily fantasy contests and upcoming Pick 6 features. So there you go. What else do we have going on? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at this one. Carl's Jr. has introduced a $1 meal deal to help those in need. The government shutdown has affected people who access food benefits, such as Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, known as SNAP, and the National School Lunch Program. In effort to help the people that rely on these government benefits, Carl's Jr.'s locations across Southern California have pledged to give away meals consisting of kids' hamburgers, small fries, and kids' drinks for $1. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking, that is for sure. Okay, what else do we got? Here's a weird fact for you. Our solar system has a wall called a heliopause. A heliopause, in case if you did not know. If you need some words of wisdom for today, it's hard to beat a person who never gives up. So thank you for hanging out with me on this lovely day. Always a good time when you and I get to hang out, even with a Freeborn Friday. At the top of the hour, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm exclusively for the next couple hours if you want to come and hang out with me. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. You can stay here and hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. So there you go. So here you go. If I can leave you with some advice for this weekend, here you go. Run warm water over a stubborn ring. Your finger swells less and it slips right off. That's some stuff to think about. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
Maybe the signal's mercy is gone. Maybe the truth was just turned on. Would I be free?